We all make mistakes, and looking back on life in hindsight is easy, but sometimes it could be nice if we had a guide to prevent us from making these mistakes in the future. So we've put together a short video with the 10 very best tips for avoiding these mistakes. So here we go. Tip number 1. Problems. You cannot live life without running into problems in one way or another, and here's how to deal with problems. If it's important and you can do something about it, then do something about it. If it's important but you can't do anything about it, then learn to live with that and shut the fuck up. If it's not important, then just shut the fuck up and move on. Tip number 2. If you have people in your life that are constantly being negative about everything, then stop hanging out with them right now. Unfortunately, some people seem to enjoy negativity and get a kick out of being negative all the time, but the problem is that these kinds of people will take up all your time and energy. They will never be happy, no matter how hard you try to help them out, and neither will you if you spend time with them. So get rid of them straight away and replace them with positive people. Tip number 3. Take responsibility. If you make mistakes, and believe me you will, then admit it and move on. There is nothing worse than people who try to run away from their responsibility, and you probably think so too, right? Yes, it sucks to make mistakes, but by taking full responsibility, we show integrity and character strength, and in the long run, it'll pay off. Tip number 4. Be passionate. Try to work with things you feel passionately about, because if you do that, you will find that most things tend to go your way. The things you're passionate about, you will end up mastering to perfection, and the things you master to perfection, people will pay you to do so. It's a win-win situation. Making money by doing something you love makes it seem like you're not working at all, and you'll be happy even though you don't make millions. Tip number 5. Don't lie. Yes, I know this is a tricky one, and I've got to admit that I lied a bit when I told my daughter that this was the prettiest, most beautiful mermaid I've ever seen, but I think you get the picture. Lying is easy if you want to avoid unpleasant situations, but the problem is that you've got to spend the rest of your life remembering who you lied to, and that shit takes a lot of energy. It is so much better to deal with the situation right here and now and get it over with instead of spending the rest of your life worrying about who you lied to. And I've got to be honest here, the script and inspiration for this video you are watching right now is very much inspired by this Danish entrepreneur, so thanks a million, Martin. Tip number 6. Yes, such a thing as karma exists, and it's not only for Buddhists. And no, karma is not an old man with a long beard keeping score of your good or bad deeds. But how many times have you experienced that people you've helped at some point in time will help you when you need it? And how many times have you experienced that people you've screwed over will eventually screw you over too? So think about how you treat people you meet on your way, and try to be nice and helpful, because you never know if you'll run into them again. Tip number 7. Money and possessions. No matter how much money we make, or no matter how much shit we own, we always seem to want more, but try to change that mindset and be happy with what you've got. You just bought a nice new car and you're happy, but your neighbor buys a nicer car and now you are unhappy. You just bought a nice big house and you got pretty excited about it, but Eugene from marketing buys a bigger house and now you're unhappy. You take over the world, but this guy takes over the universe, and now you're unhappy. Try to enjoy the things you've got and share it with your friends and family, and you've got a chance of being happy. Tip number 8. Decisions. Every big decision takes courage, and it will be unpleasant at times. A lot of people don't have the courage or willpower, and that's exactly why they postpone big decisions. I will stop drinking after this weekend. I will quit smoking next year, and so on. But the problem with postponing decisions is that it will never happen. It feels good saying these things out loud, but when the push comes to shove, nothing happens, and it usually gets backed up by a ton of excuses. Find the courage to make a decision and stick to it, and try to keep it to yourself instead of telling people about all the big things you have planned. Tip number 9. Setting goals. If you've got big goals, then work with a long-term plan and try to stick to it the best you possibly can. Assume that everything takes much longer than you originally planned, but things take time, so don't be discouraged by that fact. It takes time to build up a healthy business or develop new skills, and you've got to expect a lot of adversity from time to time, so think long-term and look always at the big picture. So let's move on to the 10th and final tip, which is always live the life you want to live. There is no reward for living other people's lives or for doing what other people think you should do. There is a fair chance that you've only got this one life to live, so live it like you choose to. What you want to do is entirely up to you as long as you don't hurt others in the process. As mentioned, you've probably only got this one life, so try to make the best of it, and should you live again, take it as a bonus. That's all for now, but thanks a million for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos like this one. Peace!